It is Trade Deadline Day. Welcome to From Center Ice. This is Courtney. Do I say podcast?
You do say podcast.
Welcome to From Center Ice, the podcast. This is Courtney.
I'm Jacqueline.
You can tell it's been a long day.
Very long day,
Very long day.
But we're on schedule. It is Monday.
We're recording later on Monday, but it is Monday.
There's a lot to get prepared.
Yeah, so today was Trade Deadline Day, obviously. And we record on Mondays, and usually I spend all day preparing for the podcast, putting the notes together and all that, but things just kept happening.
That's what happens on
up
Trade
until
Deadline
like
Day.
5 o'clock. And then you get off work at 6.
Yes.
And an hour wasn't nearly enough. And then we had to eat because this is a monster. And then there was a hockey game on, so we were watching that while I was still preparing. So now it's 9 o'clock.
And we are just beginning.
And we're going to chop this thing into 2 because we're going to start with the Blackhawks and the Ice Hogs.
Oh, we're starting with them?
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like we should just get this out of our system.
So we can be calm for the rest of the league?
Yeah. Yeah. I still have thoughts, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do our dumb team first. And then part 2 will be the rest of the league. But what I didn't think about before today was the fact that we also talk about things from the whole week between our recordings.
Typically, yeah. That's what we talk about.
Yes, because we don't always have a trade deadline day. Thank goodness.
That would be too much.
Yes. So I did put together the tweets from Blackhawks land that I will include in this one. So we'll go through that first,
and
then hit trade deadline stuff, and then we will end this one, move on to the rest of the league where we will talk about the last week, and then trade deadline stuff for the rest of the league. Ooh, I wanted this to be more organized, but then our team threw me for a loop, so it was less organized than I wanted it to be because I was thrown off.
They do that.
They do. Yes. So before we jump into all of that, take care of some housekeeping.
All right.
Yes. We have an email address.
Yeah, we do.
vfcenterice@gmail.com. We also have a Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
@vfcentericepod. And we have an Instagram.
Hell yeah.
@FromCenterIcePod.
Follow along.
Yeah.
Tweet us.
Yeah.
DM us.
Do all that stuff.
Email us.
Yeah.
All of it.
Tell us how you think about Trade Deadline Day 2020.
Yeah, how you think.
How you think.
Tell me how you think.
Tell me how you think. Oh, I'm probably not going to make a whole lot of sense.
That's okay.
It's all right. We will get the point across somehow.
Yeah,
Whew. But we would also appreciate it if you could subscribe to this podcast and give us a rating on iTunes, because it will help us grow, just like you telling your friends all about this podcast.
Tell everyone.
Tell all of the people.
Yell it from the rooftops.
Yes, because this team, the Chicago Blackhawks, is taking years off of my life. So the least you could do is share this podcast with your friends.
Share it on the socials.
Yep. Do that.
Share it in person.
Do that too.
Do all of it.
Yep.
Just tell everyone.
Tell everybody, because I am sacrificing my life.
for you!
I'm doing it for the content. So please repay me by sharing this. Thank you very much. As you finish your coffee.
Yeah. I got a coffee, I got a bowl, I got a tea. I'm set.
You are set. I only have a Red Bull, so we'll see how this goes. From Center Ice is a Rockford Buzz production.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. I was recording the Rockford Buzz podcast at 3:30 today.
Oh, God.
And I had to flip my phone over so I didn't just stop talking in the middle of it. Because we still didn't know the returns.
No, we didn't know the returns until like 4:30.
Yeah. Well, they weren't confirmed until then. There were rumblings, and the rumblings were true. But we didn't know. So I flipped it over so I wouldn't be distracted. Rockford Buzz is an online resource for the community featuring a calendar of events, local business directory, positive news stories, and more. Just search Rockford Buzz in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and follow along on Instagram and on Facebook, especially because we are trying to hit 15K followers and likes on Facebook before August 1st. So please go follow or like our page. I would greatly appreciate it.
Do it.
Okay, so we are going to start this with what happened with our team during the past week.
Throughout the week.
And then I have the scores from the games they have played.
Okay.
Just like a normal episode.
Yeah.
But we'll try to go through this a little quicker because we have the deadline stuff after that.
So much to get to.
Yep. Some of these tweets aren't super relevant anymore, or we already know the outcome of what they will be, but I still put them in here
Important nonetheless.
Yes. Just so we can keep some of these things in mind as we get through the discussion more. Mm-hmm. So, we last recorded on the 17th. This one is from the 18th. Ben Pope tweeted this and said, Hawks practiced the power play a lot today. And then a quote from Jeremy Colleton, nothing really new though. It's more like getting confidence and having, for the players, a chance to go through some options and have conversations under pressure. I am so glad. This is me now. Okay. That pressure was the end of his quote.
Yes.
I am so glad they are starting to work on this in February.
I was going to say, a little late?
Yes, we need to give our team confidence
in February.
Not the beginning of the season.
No, not even the beginning of February.
No, February 18th.
When there's like a month and a half left.
The halfway point of February. We are going to work on the power play, but nothing new.
No.
We just want to give them confidence. These players making millions of dollars, we need to give them confidence on the power play. And yes, confidence can be shaken.
Of course.
And that can happen when you're not playing well. But when you have the type of talent that the Blackhawks do, I don't think you need to be working on teaching them how to have conversations under pressure on the power play.
Just finish.
Yes.
Just follow through.
Yep.
That's it.
Yes. So then we move on to the next day, February 19th. This was tweeted by John Dietz, and it is a quote from Corey Crawford, the goaltender for the Chicago Blackhawks. He said, I'm going to do what I can to help us win, and hopefully I can stay here, and we could go for another Stanley Cup. Especially the older guys, we believe we can still win. We're pretty close to the playoffs. We want to get there. I don't think we want this team blown up. So, Jacqueline,
yes.
I ask you.
What do you ask me?
Are our players delusional?
You know, I feel like quite possibly.
Yes.
If they feel like they could win a Stanley Cup with the way that they have been playing.
Yes.
Oh, no.
No.
No, no.
No.
No, 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 no.
This coming from a guy who has 2 Stanley Cups. And was very good in both cup runs. But he saw the defense in front of him during those cup runs, and he sees the defense in front of him now.
There's no way.
There's no
way.
I don't feel like he's much for lip service. Maybe a little more than Robin Lehner is, but I don't know if he's just delusional, if he's hopeful, or if he just wanted to stay in Chicago, so he didn't want to piss off the team.
You know, it could be a combination of any and all of these things.
It could. So we will just leave that out in the ether.
Okay.
Still February 19th, from Ben Pope. Colleton on Convos with Bowman. We're both on the same page as far as you try to win now with the players you have, and also look ahead, because you want to have long-term success.
Can both of these things happen?
In theory, Yes.
I mean, theoretically, anything's possible.
But in order to have this happen, you need a solid pipeline of prospects.
Yes.
Which ours isn't terrible.
No, we've got players coming up.
We do.
For sure.
But you have to put them in a position to gain good experience and have success at each level they are at.
Yes.
And I don't feel they are doing that with their American League teams. The long-term success with the budding prospects, I don't know how they're looking at that.
Also, you have to stop trading away any of your younger prospects that you have started to develop.
Yes, there is that. And then trying to win now, do you mean games or
or like
a Stanley Cup? Because if we're going for the latter, you are also delusional. And I'm starting to wonder if they are doing drugs in Chicago.
It's just in the air.
All right. From Erik Gustafsson. This one was actually good news.
Okay.
Duncan Keith is the 7th player in Blackhawks history to reach 500 career assists. The only other Blackhawks defenseman to hit that mark is Doug Wilson with 554.
Good for him.
Good job, Dunks. That is a pretty crazy number.
Oh, yeah.
500
that's
career
a
assists.
milestone.
It is. So good on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have some more good news. This one from Mario Tirabassi. I really need to ask him how to say his name because we use his tweets a lot and I never know each time I say it how to say his name.
Tirabassi?
Sure. One of these days I'll ask.
Tirabassi.
He said, 13 NHL rookies have scored 30-plus goals in their first season since 2005-2006. Dominic Kubalik is on pace for 34.4 goals this season. If he were to get to 35 goals, it would be the 5th most since 05-06, behind Laine with 36, Crosby with 39, Matthews with 40, and Ovechkin with 52!
Man is not human.
As a rookie!
Oh my god.
Yes, but anyways...
52 goals his rookie season?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
That is some very good company to be in.
Yeah. I wouldn't have put him there.
No, I don't think anybody expected this coming into the season.
Absolutely not.
We all saw in training camp and the preseason that he had a very good shot.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't think we were like, you know what? He's going to get over 30 goals this season. But here we are.
Absolutely not. Oh my god.
Yes, he is on pace for 34.4, and I hope he gets it.
Okay, he's on pace for that, but how many does he actually have?
Let me tell you.
At the moment.
Dominic, I don't think I even spelled that right.
No, you threw an extra N in there.
Whoops.
Dominic.
But Google will know. He has 26.
Okay.
So he only needs 4 more to hit 30.
That's all.
8 to hit 34. 9 to hit 35, because you can't have 0.4 of a goal.
No.
So he's on his way there.
Yeah.
And he's finally on the top power play unit. It only took until February.
He should have been there a long time ago.
Yeah, he should have been there since the beginning.
I mean, that long ago, yes.
Yes, that would have been good. Also from February 19th, this tweet from Mark Lazarus. Another Colleton quote. Colleton on the Blackhawks coming out so lifeless in such a desperate situation. He said, makes you angry.
You think? Is that the title of our podcast? Makes you angry?
Possibly. Oh, gosh. And then from John Dietz. A quote from Artemi Panarin.
Okay.
You know what really makes you angry? That was just me. So here's the quote. When I played in Chicago, I thought I would play here my whole life. And that happened. The trade. It still confuses me.
Oh.
So there's that.
Brad!
There's that. I feel like the deeper we go into this podcast, it's only going to trend downward.
Oh, I'm so sad, though.
I don't think he would have taken a huge pay cut to stay in Chicago.
No.
It's easier to say that when you're
making
not in this situation and making $11 million. So I still don't think we would have been able to afford him, but I do believe that when he was here, he probably did think he was going to spend his whole career here. But then his career took off, and he just kept scoring, and now he makes $11 million on the Rangers. Yeah. So then we had the trade that never happened. Oh, Darren Dreger, on February 21st, decided to blow up the Twitter world by saying that the Islanders have traded Ilya Sorokin's rights to Chicago. If you don't know who Ilya Sorokin is, he is a goaltending prospect of the New York Islanders playing with CSKA Moscow. And he currently has a 25-9-3 record with a 150 goals against average and .936 save percentage in 38 games this season.
Holy hell.
Also teammates with Max Shalunov, which is a Blackhawks prospect, kind of, sort of. Like, we drafted him. And I think we might still own his rights, but also maybe not. I'm not sure. It's a weird situation with him. Okay. So yeah, Dreger reported that, and it wasn't true. There were rumblings, and apparently the goaltender's teammates leaked it. Who knows how much truth there is to any of that. But people were very excited. I was very excited. I was afraid of what we would have given up. But it is the trade that never happened.
Bro, you've got credibility. Like, I know it kind of went down this summer. But, like, still, people listen to you, my dude.
You got that check mark by your name.
Yeah, that should mean something.
You can't just say...
nothing willy-nilly.
Yeah.
You must...
He did say sources say, but...
But people are still going to take that and run with it.
Exactly.
You gotta be careful, dude.
Every time Dreger comes across my timeline, I'm just like,
That's why I was hesitant. Okay, later.
Okay. Also on February 21st, we get the shocking news that the Ice Hogs have reassigned Dylan McLaughlin and Tim Soderlund to the Indy Fuel of the ECHL.
That really came out, like, McLaughlin, sure.
Yes.
But Timmy?
Because he's been going up and down.
Timmy, though?
Yeah, I didn't expect Timmy. Like, no, he hasn't been scoring as many points as you probably want him to.
But he plays well.
Exactly. He's still been effective.
He's effective. He uses his small little body.
And his speed.
He's an effective player. It was super surprising to see his name being sent down.
Yeah. I don't know if they're trying to get him to produce more to maybe...
Was it because somebody else came up?
Yeah, Vadine came back from injury. And so did somebody else.
Who was it? It was... I put it in the caption...
I don't remember who it was.
Motri,
right.
Who was also
so Motri and Vadine came back. Kurashev also came back, but that was this weekend. That was after...
Yeah, that wasn't until yesterday.
Right, that was after this move happened. But they're getting healthy. But now Mackenzie Entwistle is injured.
Went down. Osipov went down.
Right. So we called up Jack Ramsey again.
I just don't feel like he's done anything for us.
He hasn't, but he's still young. Yeah. I feel like we called up another defenseman. Oh, McArdle, because I ran into him at the gas station. Yeah. That was so random. I was at the gas station. I was buying water and a Diet Coke for my sister because I was on my way to the airport to pick her up. And I was standing behind this person, and I was like, that dude looks like a hockey player. Like, he's dressed like a hockey player with the long black coats and the beanies that they wear. I was like, I'm just going to keep an eye on this. So then he turned around, and I was like, holy shit,
wow,
it's McArdle.
It's McArdle.
Yeah, so...
Josh, how you doing?
Yeah, I said, welcome back to Rockford, and we're glad to have you back. And he was just
Rockford
super smiley,
native.
like he always is.
Well, Roscoe native? Where's he from?
Yes, Rockton, Roscoe.
Roscoe.
Somewhere.
One of the burbs
Close
of
enough.
Rockford.
Yeah. Yes. And then in
that
good
was this
Ice
past
Hogs
week?
news, yes.
Oh my god, it feels
it
like
was
so
Friday.
long ago.
Like a couple days ago.
No
it
way.
wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, this feels like over a week ago. Holy
it does.
shit.
This feels like a long time ago. So,
I didn't feel like we had a game this weekend, but we did.
We did.
This game.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a game.
The IceHogs played the Rampage, and Colin Delia got his second shutout of the season.
Oh, it was beautiful.
It was.
Oh, just beautiful.
28 saves. He's now 13-11-1 on the season with a .915 save percentage and a .262 goals against average. But then he played...
It was...
What game did he play? He played against Chicago.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
That was only yesterday?
That was yesterday.
Wow. Yeah, so these numbers aren't correct anymore. No. So this was as of Friday. From Mario as well.
Friday was a good day.
And then Saturday. Lucas Carlson was recalled by the Blackhawks.
Fucking hell. I go off one time about a player that I don't think passes the eye test, and everybody's like, fucking Lucas Carlson! Yeah!
And then he gets called up.
Mm-hmm. And everyone tweets their praise and their love, including you.
I was just retweeting.
Yeah, well.
I had to make sure you saw them.
Trust me, I saw every last one of them.
He made
He
made his NHL debut yesterday.
Yeah.
Became the 120th IceHogs alum to reach the NHL and the 89th to go from Rockford to the Blackhawks.
Good job, Luke.
Yes. And that nifty info came from Joseph Zakshesky. And I don't know how you get that last name out of the spelling. It's kind of like Bufflin.
A little bit, yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. But yeah. And then we had a goalie fight.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Tommy and Grosnick of the freaking Admirals.
Well, I mean, when you're losing, 6-2?
6-2.
And the coach won't pull you?
Yeah. Because he doesn't believe in pulling goalies.
Fuck off, King.
Because he wants them to play through it.
No, if your goalie is out there getting hung out to dry...
I'm sure they were camped out right in front of him again.
Yeah, he won't move anybody and nobody will clear anybody.
It was the same team. It happened against Milwaukee last time. Oh my god,
fucking Milwaukee. The only way he was getting out of that net was to fight.
Yep.
And Tommy is our only goalie that will fight.
Although Colin has said he wants to fight. Yeah.
But the opportunity has not arisen. Arisen.
Yes. Yes.
He got Grosnick down. Grosnick landed a couple punches.
Yeah, but then Tommy tackled him.
Yeah.
So I don't know who you'd really say won that fight.
Kind of a draw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Either way, he got 19 minutes? Because there's 2 for leaving the crease. There's 5 for fighting. The game misconduct, and I feel like there's another 2, but I don't remember.
I'm not sure. Oy. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But I'm glad we had a goalie fight. I'm sad it wasn't at home.
Right? Nothing good can happen at home, except for that shutout. The shutout was good.
The shutout was good. But I also want a goalie fight at home.
That would be wonderful. Yep. That would really get the crowd going.
Yeah, the closest we got was JoJo. But that
slowly taking off his gloves.
Yeah. That was against Bennington, wasn't it?
It was.
That little punk ass bitch.
Billington.
Little
bitch Billington. Oh, it's been a long day.
Billington just sounds like a name of an evil bully in a kid's novel.
I'm just a bill, yeah, I'm only a bill.
Oh my god.
I'm sitting here on Capitol.
We're talking about our team being delusional, then there's us. Oh, buddy. Alright. So then we go to the scores of the games in between our last recording and now.
Over the past week.
Yeah. So the Blackhawks have played 3 games. They played the Rangers on Wednesday, and they lost 6-3.
Okay.
Yep. They played Friday against the Preds, and they won 2-1 in overtime. And Kat scored both goals.
Right.
Yep. The first one just kind of hit him and went in on the power play.
That was the one where he was like, yeah, I've never really played, net front.
Yeah.
During a power play. This was my first time. I just got lucky.
Yeah, it just hit him. So
he said he watched some video earlier in the day of, how to play that part.
So, guys standing in front of the net works.
What?
Weird, right?
You want a player there?
Like, in front of the goalie? So the goalie can't see?
What?
Oh, sounds fake. Then yesterday, they played the Stars, and they lost 2-1. Yeah. Did Corey play the game against the Rangers, or was that Lehner? Because I know Corey played against the Preds and the Stars. And I feel like Gus sat out all 3 games.
What day was it? February
19th. Yes. The game against the Rangers, where they had to play against Artemi Panarin, and he scored, because of course he did. I feel like it was against Lehner. I feel like Lehner played that game.
Struggling.
Is the Google machine not helping?
Mm-mm.
Oh no. It's fine. I'm pretty sure it was Lehner. So yeah, Lehner played then, and then Corey played the last 2 games, beating the Preds and then losing to the Stars 2-1. Yeah.
All I get is a score?
No, if you go to Game Center and then Blackhawks.
That's the one.
And then scroll goalie.
Lehner.
Yeah, Lehner. Yes. So the Hawks are 1-2 since we last recorded.
Yeah.
And yet they still think they can win now?
Okay.
Or something to that effect. It's like I'm getting tired just thinking about that. Because they're either crazy or they're lying to us, and I don't really like either option.
You know, it could be either or a mixture.
It could be. It might be a mixture.
Could be accidentally lying to us.
Accidentally.
Yeah, if they're just going crazy, then maybe they believe it.
That's true. But I wouldn't call that lying. That's just ignorance.
Fair.
Yeah. I feel like lying is with intention.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like you saying that Massachusetts is south.
That was not intentional.
Exactly.
I was just ignorant to where Massachusetts was.
That's what I was saying.
Yes, correct. I thought you were saying that I lied about that.
I mean, technically you did, but you believed it, so...
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we do these things and talk about the scores between recordings, it seems like one team is on fire while the other is slowly wasting away.
Mm-hmm.
But this week,
Uh-oh.
the Blackhawks are 1-2, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
The Ice Hogs are 1-3.
Mm-hmm.
So, they are both slipping into oblivion.
They should be 2-2.
They should be.
That Grand Rapids game on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
They should have had that.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have.
They should have. They were playing... They looked dominant.
In the first period. And then it kind of withered away after that.
As it tends to do, huh?
It does tend to do that.
They come out swinging and then they die. They just lay down and die.
Yeah, that's about it.
I hate it so much.
These teams are going to give me heart problems and take years off of my life.
Just keep playing. Like,
they cannot.
It's not even like they just get tired.
No.
They just stop trying.
Yeah. They made a push for it at the end.
At the end, but it's obviously
way too late.
Way too late.
Yep. So they lost that game 2-1. And then we had the Friday night game that we talked about where we won 1-0. And then we played Saturday against Milwaukee. And Milwaukee beat us 7.
Okay, nobody expected to win that game.
No.
But 7?
I did not expect to get lit up for 7 goals. Again.
Tommy.
Again. And they had just killed Chicago the night before.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why is Milwaukee so good?
They're just freaking god tier, and I don't understand why.
It's obnoxious. And then we went into Sunday against the Wolves.
Where we could have won the Lottery Cup.
Yep. But instead, we lost 5-1.
Nick Mutry with the only goal?
Yep. So in the past week, the Ice Hogs have scored 5 goals.
Oh no.
They've been scored on 14 times.
Ouchie!
14-5.
And that's in 3 games because we got a shutout.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
So we've scored 5 in 4 games and been scored on 14 times in 3 games.
I don't like that at all.
That's bad.
And they outshot the Wolves.
They did.
By a lot.
They did. And they just didn't score
No?
and gave up so many. I'm glad I wasn't watching that game, but I kind of wish I had to have been like, what happened?
Uh-huh. We have a lot of season ticket holders that went to both the Milwaukee and Chicago games.
Yeah?
And they were keeping us posted in the group on things that were happening.
And none of it was good.
No, it's sad.
Yeah. So we've had a very sad week in the hockey world, leading in to today's trade deadline.
We're doing it, huh?
We are here. We have arrived.
We have arrived at the trade deadline.
We've arrived at the trade deadline.
Here we are.
So,
are you ready?
The first trade that was confirmed by the team.
Not the first announced, but the first confirmed.
The first confirmed was we sent Nathan Noel to Philly for TJ Brennan.
Welcome back, kid.
You say kid like he's young.
I think he's 30.
TJ Brennan is 30 years old. You are correct.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
He was playing for the Lee Valley Phantoms. He hasn't played a game since January 10th.
Is that just a healthy scratch thing?
It is. And there was a tweet after the trade was announced from Bob Rotrick, who I believe I read was the radio announcer for the Phantoms.
Okay.
He said, "Happy for TJ, who gets a fresh start with a new organization." Not really new because he's coming back.
Yeah, it's a revisit.
Yep. Hoping he can find his game again. Has not played since January 10th.
That's over a month.
He played for Rockford in 2014-15, teammates with Michael Layton.
Aw, Michael.
So knows a few of the people there and his way around the area.
Okay.
So.
Whoa, what was that? Oh, magazine just fell off your table.
So we traded for a guy who hasn't played since January 10th. He's our token guy who comes back to the organization.
Who Chris Versteeg was supposed to be this year.
Yeah, so we've done it more than once.
Oh, yeah.
There was Andrew Shaw.
Constantly.
There was Chris Versteeg. And now TJ Brennan.
I mean, even Brandon Saad.
Yeah, but that wasn't this year.
No, not this year.
Yeah.
But like,
I'm just saying, this season, we have brought in 3 guys already.
Yeah.
Who fill that role of Stan needing to bring in guys who've already been
back
here.
Together.
But also, if you're going to make a trade, you do not want to make a trade for a guy who, after the trade happens, the radio announcer for said team that he came from says, hoping he can find his game again. You traded for a guy who can't play anymore.
Woo! Let's go!
He's a defenseman. He used to score a lot of points.
Yeah, he's got plenty of experience. Fills that veteran role for us.
I had somebody tell me that his numbers don't look very bad.
Numbers.
And the more I have this numbers argument with people, the more I want to scoop my eyeballs out with a very dull spoon.
Unfortunately, that will not help the situation.
It will not, but at least I will not have to see the comments about the points.
And then they'll just start yelling them.
Any longer. Oh, no. See, if I can hear your voice, I can figure out where you are, and I can start swinging. I cannot throw hands through the internet.
True.
So we have TJ Brennan now, who is looking to find his game again.
Here in Rockford.
I was not super upset about trading Noel.
No. He's spent most of the season in the ECHL anyway.
Right. And I never really saw him cracking the Blackhawks lineup.
No.
He was kind of just a guy.
Decent. Like, he wasn't bad.
No. He wasn't bad, but
he was a guy out there.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way about this that I felt about the Graham Knott trade. Like, okay.
I rather liked Graham Knott, and I'm not sure what my attachment was.
I don't know either.
He's not particularly impressive.
No, and
something about him.
Krameros has been a lot better for us than Graham Knott.
Absolutely. He's been great.
Yeah, so I like that trade. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really care when it happened. So I was like, okay. And that's how I felt when I saw that we had traded Nathan.
Yeah.
But then I saw the return, and I said, why?
Well, you know.
Why?
Gotta bring the band back together.
Is this how, going back to one of the earlier tweets, we bring in players to mentor the young guys and assure long-term success by giving them the best possible situation?
Yeah.
TJ Brennan?
TJ Brennan. He's the answer to all of our problems.
Sure.
Sure
he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. If we were going to bring in a veteran player, I would have preferred somebody more along the lines of Cody Franzen when we had him for the year.
God, I miss him.
Somebody who had leadership ability and could still produce. Wasn't just trying to find his game.
Right.
He had been tossed around between a couple teams, but he was just overpaid. He was still a serviceable player and was good for us in his last season here. That was the last time we made the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think TJ Brennan is the answer to what ails the Ice Hogs.
No.
So this move just doesn't make sense to me.
There's a lot of moves that don't make a whole lot of sense.
There is that. But I just don't... It's a trade you're just like, why?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, that was literally our response to the Andrew Shaw trade, too.
That's fair.
We said nothing but why.
That is very
just
fair.
Why?
At least we didn't give up a second-round pick for this one.
True.
I'm kind of surprised we didn't give up a better prospect for it, to be fair.
Honestly.
But, like, yeah, Osipov was injured. But we called up McArdle.
Yes.
And it's not like TJ Brennan fills the role that Osipov left, because they're not the same player at all.
I did read that he uses his body.
Since when?
I don't know. I don't remember who. Maybe I can find the tweet.
I've never thought of TJ Brennan and like, you know what? That dude uses his body.
That's a guy that...
Yes. So, like, even... Okay, I clicked on his Elite Prospects page just now, okay? And the scouting report on his game from 2013, so it was a few years ago. This is from Eric K. Peary of Elite Prospects, says, Brennan is an offensive defenseman with a howitzer of a shot. He also skates well and has good passing skills. Needs to improve his defensive game.
That is our exact problem.
He is now 30. I don't think he's really improved it all that much. He's a -3 on the season, and yeah, plus minus is a very flawed stat. But he was a -13 last year, had 43 points because he had 35 assists, but he's only got 8 points this season in 28 games. So I don't really know what they're going for. I don't know if they think that he's just going to start scoring again when he hasn't had that all season.
Right.
His point totals from the past couple seasons haven't been too bad. 43, 45, and 60. I think 60 was when they made the playoffs. Yeah, it was. And then the year after he had 45 points, they made the playoffs. Last year they didn't. So I don't know. I just don't know.
Oh, no, I was wrong about who that tweet was about.
Oh.
Never mind.
Okay.
It's somebody we got, but it's a different one.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yep. So, we need people who are defensively responsible.
Yeah, that would be our biggest flaw this season.
Yep.
I mean, besides not scoring goals, but that's just because you're not trying. You have to shoot the puck to score.
You do have to do that. And...
Or at least get it towards the net.
That would be good.
Anything.
That would be good. Watch him come in and just, score a ton of goals and make us look stupid.
Please do.
I mean, I would love to be proven
wrong.
That would be great. That would be great.
I would greatly appreciate that.
Yeah. We've spent way too long on this trade that means absolutely nothing for now.
The smallest trade of the day.
I think I'm just really putting off getting to the other two.
Because it's going to take a lot of emotional strength.
Yeah, so before I actually say what the other two are, I will say that I was expecting the Blackhawks to make more than 3 moves today.
Yes.
It seems a little bit crazy to me that there were only 3.
That they think they can win with just these 3? Is that what they're saying?
I don't know. I think that they don't think... I'm not really sure what they think, but what these moves told me today is they don't think they are good enough to go far in the playoffs, but they refuse to rebuild.
Yeah.
That is what these moves tell me today. Because if they were going to rebuild, which would make the most sense, or at least do a semi-rebuild, kind of go the New York Rangers route. They kept a lot of their pieces, a lot of their core pieces, but traded away a lot and got a lot of picks and prospects, and now they're doing okay. It would make sense. Because that's what we need to do. Because we have a roster that on paper, it looks fine.
Should be doing great.
But then they get out there, and they look like they'd never play hockey in their life. What is happening?
Couldn't tell you.
Maybe they plan to change the coaching staff in the offseason?
I mean, at this point, I feel like they have to.
Right.
Not that I want Jeremy fired. I think it's not his problem. I'm not saying
I think it's everybody's fault at
right.
this point.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's all his fault. I'm not saying it's none of his fault.
Right.
I think just as a whole, it's just not working.
Something is not working. And it is very clear, and it seems like the give a fuck meter in our veterans is just absolutely nowhere to be found. The meter doesn't even exist anymore.
Right.
Because they just look like they don't care. But then they come out and have that game against Calgary where they went 8-4. It's why can't you just do this all the time?
Right.
And then they play the next game and they lose. Why?
I got nothing, man. I don't know.
I really don't understand. So, that said, the next trade that was confirmed was Erik Gustafsson being shipped to Calgary.
Yes.
For a conditional 3rd-round pick. The condition: Chicago will receive the earlier of Calgary or Edmonton's 2020 3rd-round pick on the requirement that Edmonton's pick meets its conditions and becomes the property of Calgary. The Edmonton pick is a conditional pick that Calgary does not yet own. God. So we get a 3rd-round pick either way.
That's
for
all.
Gus.
That's all.
That's all.
That's all.
I'm trying to put my thoughts together in a way that makes sense.
Okay.
So, we have wanted Gustafsson gone for a very long time. He is horrible to watch on the ice. We have said for years, like, just trade him. I wouldn't even care what you get. Just get rid of him so we don't have to watch him anymore. Mm-hmm. And then last year, he just comes out and lights the team on fire and starts scoring all of these points.
Yep.
And we're like, this isn't sustainable. This isn't just going to keep happening.
Nope.
So trade him in the offseason. Like, he's got amazing value right now. He can quarterback a power play, put up a bunch of points for a team looking for offense from the back end. Makes total sense. Get some prospects or picks before the draft if you were going to do that. Mm-hmm. Maybe even get a second round pick or a late first. I don't know. GMs go crazy around weird things. But no. We held on to Gus, thinking, I guess, that he would do the same thing again this year.
I don't think anyone actually expected that.
Except the team?
Well,
maybe?
They sure hoped.
Right. Like, none of the fans expected it.
Mm-mm. It's just not realistic.
It's not.
That's not the player he is. He had a fluke year.
Yeah.
He did great last season. Good for him.
Exactly.
We should have gotten rid of him as he was riding that high.
Yeah, because he actually had value.
Yeah.
So then we come into this season. He's sucking. He's good old Gus, trying to quarterback a power play, but giving up a ton of odd man rushes the other way, or breakaways, and then he tries to get back, and then he just trips over his own feet and falls over, and then there's a breakaway, and then it's in the back of our net for a shorthanded goal, and you're like, damn it, Gus, you did it again.
You done did it.
So then, you're sitting over here like, just get rid of him. I don't care, just give me a bag of pucks. Doesn't matter. I want him off the team so he cannot be on the power play any longer. But then, we come into trade deadline season, which is one of the silly seasons in the NHL, where GMs and teams just go absolutely insane, and you don't know what anybody's going to do, and everybody's just highly rated, and you start looking for who needs defensemen and goaltenders and forwards, and you're like, my guy can fit in there, and it'll be great. And there have been rumors for the past while that we were going to trade Gus, but especially the past week, because he sat out the last 3 games, I want to say.
2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah, 2 or 3. So we're like, all right.
Where's he going? Where's he going?
Gus is going to get traded. It's just a matter of time. Heard Vegas was interested. Heard Carolina was interested. Never heard anything about Calgary.
Nah, nothing.
So that just came out of the woodworks today, that he was going to Calgary.
You're like, okay, the Flames?
Yeah, and with his name thrown around, and people were like, yeah, he would be a good acquisition. You're like, okay, maybe we'll get a second-round pick. Cool. Or maybe a B-level prospect. Mm-hmm. We get a third-round pick, and that's all.
Okay.
So part of me is like, yeah, that makes sense, because that's all he's really worth.
Right.
But the other side of me is like, what some of these other guys went for is just insane. Did we not try hard enough to get something better than a third-round pick? You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes it just kind of seems like Stan gets an offer, and I don't know whether he thinks he won't get a better offer than that, or what, but then he just takes it, and then you're like, what the hell? And that's kind of how I feel this Gustafsson trade went down. But he's finally gone.
He is.
Thank goodness. So then we come to the final trade of the day. This one has also been rumored for a bit, sort of.
Sort of. We
knew that Lehner was either going to be re-signed or going to be traded. Mm-hmm. Well, we said he needed to either be traded or re-signed. You can't go into the offseason getting absolutely nothing for him. Mm-hmm. So he sat out the last 2 games. The one against Nashville wasn't that surprising because he had lost the game against the Rangers, so give Corey the next game.
Right.
And then we get Dallas, and he's playing again. And usually this season. Lehner has been playing back-to-back games, and Corey's been filling in backup duty. So, when he plays 2 in a row, you're like, okay, Lehner's getting traded, obviously. So, where's he going? What are we going to get? Blah, 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 blah. And then that Carolina-Toronto game happens, and both of Carolina's goalies get injured.
Oh, right.
And they're out for a while, and Carolina was already rumored to be in on Lehner.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, obviously this is a perfect fit.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes sense.
Plus, we are known to send players straight to Carolina.
There is that as well.
They're like one of our secondary teams.
Yeah.
Just like them in Arizona.
Yeah.
And like, that's just where we ship people.
Exactly. So it just makes sense. So you're like, okay, what are we going to get from Carolina for Lehner? It just seemed like written in the stars that this was going to happen.
It made a whole lot of sense.
Total sense. So today comes along, and we're nearing the deadline. I think it was like a half hour before 2 o'clock or so.
For this one?
Yeah.
No, this one was the one that happened right at...
It was right at the deadline?
Yeah, like 1 minute left.
Gotcha. Yeah, we start seeing tweets like, Lehner to Vegas. Like, huh?
Huh?
What?
Huh?
Okay.
Vegas?
I guess?
Sure.
It didn't make much sense to me, like, from the beginning. It's like,
right.
They have Fleury.
Uh-huh.
I guess they want to go the tandem route, which makes sense.
I mean, sure, anyone would want to have a tandem.
But you can only have one starter going into the playoffs, and if you're not starting Fleury, that would be very odd at this point. So then Lehner's going to be the backup?
Mm-hmm.
Sure!
I guess.
Go for it. Meanwhile, Carolina's over here needing a goalie.
Yeah, they got nobody.
They're like going all in, making trades all day to bolster their team. And yet the goaltending position...
just wide open. They called up both of their AHL goalies because they had to.
Yeah, they have Nedeljkovic and Anton Forsberg.
Good old buddy Anton.
Yeah. So... Lehner to Vegas. You're like, okay.
I guess.
So then I start thinking, I'm like, oh, the Wolves are the affiliate of Vegas.
Yes.
We see the Wolves a lot.
A lot.
Kind of know who the good players are. Thinking, okay, well, we'll get one of the prospects from Vegas.
You would think.
From the Wolves. So then I start thinking about who I would want. There's Nick Hague, there's Dylan Coughlin, there's Lucas Elvenes, all these guys. I'm like, that'd be cool. Super cool. That would help the Ice Hogs out right now. The Blackhawks aren't going anywhere. They'll figure out something for their backup goaltender situation, whether it's one of our three or they get one of Oscar Dansk or Garrett Sparks. Yeah, so cool. We'll get something good. So then it comes out that we're going to get a second round pick and a prospect.
Yeah.
Okay. I can try to wrap my brain around this. Lehner's definitely worth a first round pick, but he's going to be the backup, so okay. If he would have gone to Carolina, that seems like it would have been an easy first round pick grab because they need goaltending. But okay, Vegas, second round pick. We're still getting a prospect. Obviously, it has to be one of the better Wolves players then to make this trade work. If Vegas doesn't want to give up their first, all right, give us a second and one of your good prospects. Then we hear second, a prospect, and Malcolm Subban.
That was the tweet that I was talking about earlier from Drager that
I
wasn't sure about. Because I feel like somebody tweeted it and then deleted it, like, right when it happened. Really? Yeah, I retweeted somebody that said Subban, like, when it was announced, and then they deleted it and just put the second round and the prospect. And I was like, okay, so maybe that was a mistake. Like,
right.
Maybe Subban isn't involved in this at all.
Right.
And then he was.
So then I was like, oh no. Are they considering Subban a prospect? And we're going to get a second-round pick and Malcolm Subban?
Oh, God.
Who isn't a prospect any longer?
No.
No. This still keeps going, and it went on for, like, almost 3 hours, right?
Yeah, they just weren't announcing.
They just weren't announcing it at all. So then, the name Slava Demin...
Demin?
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 Gets thrown out there.
Demin.
It's like denim, but with the N and the M switch. Demin.
I want to say Demin,
It
but
probably
I don't
is.
know.
That name gets thrown out there, and I go, who?
Who?
I have never heard that name in my life.
Probably because he's not in the AHL.
Probably not. He was a 4th-round pick of the Vegas Golden Knights. So I'm like, okay. If this is true, this is a very bad trade. So I'm hoping that somebody got bad information. And when it's announced and confirmed, it'll be Subban, a second, and a different prospect that is currently playing for the Chicago Wolves.
Right.
That is what I had my mind set as. Well. Then I look at my phone, and I see a tweet from the Toronto Maple Leafs that says, the Maple Leafs have acquired Vegas' 2020 5th-round pick in 3-team trade with Golden Knights and Blackhawks. And I go, What? Where did that come from?
What do you mean? Where did Toronto come from? When did they get involved in this?
We had heard absolutely nothing about Toronto until Toronto tweeted about this.
It was literally just Blackhawks and Golden Knights.
It's like they inserted themselves into the trade just because they hadn't done anything.
Hey, we're here.
We're here too, guys.
We did this too.
So after Toronto tweeted that, then it finally gets confirmed that Chicago acquires Malcolm Subban, Slava Demin. I'm just going to call him Denim.
Just call him Jeans.
Jeans. Slava Jeans. And a 2020 second-round pick from Vegas. And then we hear that Toronto gets the 5th-round pick from Vegas, and that Vegas gets Robin Lehner and Martins Dzirkles, who is an unsigned prospect currently from Toronto. So then, it wasn't done.
No.
It was not done. We hear... So the Blackhawks traded Robin Lehner to Toronto, retaining half of his salary.
$2,500,000.
Toronto then trades Robin Lehner and Martins Dzirkles to Vegas, retaining 44% of his salary. And they get a 5th-round pick from Vegas. So they bought a 5th-round pick, basically.
Yes.
By retaining salary. So
Vegas paid like 6% for Lehner? If we're paying 50, Toronto's paying 44.
Yeah?
Is that math?
I feel like that's not right. But I don't know how it wouldn't be.
I don't know math.
I don't know how this shit works.
No.
All I know is this was a terrible trade.
I thought we would get something decent for Robin.
So here's what I would have been okay with.
Okay.
Not what I would have been happy with, what I would have been okay with.
Do tell.
let's just cut Toronto out of this and just deal with the Hawks in Vegas because they just inserted themselves for fun. Mm-hmm. Malcolm Subban.
Yes.
2nd round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Player from the Wolves.
Right.
That's not bad.
A decent player from the Wolves.
I was feeling it in my bones that it was going to be Keegan Colasar because I hate him so much. I was like, that's who it's going to be. He's going to be ours. But he's currently injured. Mm-hmm. So I was like, maybe not then. But I could feel it. I was like, they're going to do this to me. They are. But no, they did something worse.
They did something worse.
And picked up a guy I've never heard of in my entire life. Who... it was so random.
Yeah.
This guy hasn't been tied to us at all. And apparently, he's just been on our radar. What? Like, he plays in Denver with Ian Mitchell. Is that the only reason that he was on our radar? Because he went in the 4th round of the draft. Like, you could have taken him yourself.
Right, yeah.
You could have taken him yourself. If you wanted him that bad, you didn't have to trade fucking Robin Lehner for him. You could have drafted him. 4th round. You could have traded something a lot less to get a 4th round fucking draft pick to get this guy if you wanted him that goddamn bad. But no. We trade Robin Lehner. Mm-hmm. And retain 50% of his salary, which
my God.
It really doesn't mean all that much because he's only on the books till the end of the season, and it's not like we acquired cap space from any other trade.
No, it just
but that's
feels like
not the
salt
principle
in the
of
wound.
it. We gave Vegas an elite level goaltender.
Yeah, which we need. Like, no, we're not gonna run off into the playoffs, but like,
we kept some of his salary,
half of it,
to make it possible to give this elite level goaltender to Vegas.
Like, you're telling me they weren't gonna take him unless we...
I'm pretty sure if we would have been like, no, you have to take the whole goddamn salary, they would have been like, okay, we're gonna move somebody to fit fucking Robin Lehner on our roster.
It's Robin Lehner. Like, you know what he is.
But
you know.
No.
It's not a fluke. Like, he's a good fucking goaltender.
Yes. This season, in 33 games, he is 16-10-5 behind a terrible team with a .301 goals against average and a .918 save percentage behind this terrible team.
So bad.
He's got a career goals against average of .273 and a career save percentage of .918, which is what he has this year. Mm-hmm. And he's played behind some terrible teams.
Oh my God,
Buffalo. That's all you need to know is he played in Buffalo. Meanwhile, the goalie we got back...
No, I don't want to hear it.
Malcolm Subban. This season, he's played 20 games in Vegas.
In Vegas.
Very good team.
Yeah.
9-7-3. A .318 goals against average. And an .890 save percentage.
890?
890.
Oh, no.
If you can put up those kinds of numbers behind Vegas... What are you going to do in Chicago when Robin Lehner puts up a .301 goals against average and a .918 save percentage?
God. It hurts.
Do you want to know his career numbers?
Probably not.
A .297 goals against average. Not too far off from Lehner's .273, but, you know, that's a good 0.2% higher.
Yeah.
.899 save percentage.
Above 9?
Not even above 9.
Oh, boy.
899.
Real close to 9.
But not there. And it's just going to go down behind this Blackhawks team.
What do you expect from him? So Subban is our backup, huh?
Subban is our backup. Behind Corey Crawford.
Before Subban was ever involved in this trade, when it was just the second round and the prospect, I was like, oh no, we're losing one of our goalies because they're going to call somebody up. It's got to be Colin, right? And then they're like, no, Malcolm Subban, into the rescue. And I don't really feel like it's a rescue.
So why are we carrying 3 goalies? Why is that a thing that they've made the Hogs do?
For the past 2 years.
If their goal was not to move one of the goaltenders and call one up to be the backup.
Okay, granted, it's just for the rest of the season, right?
Right.
But still.
I don't understand. I do not understand. I do not understand.
No.
What happened here?
Dude, I have no idea. Today didn't feel real.
No.
The building that I work in is concrete, and I don't get very good reception.
Mm-hmm.
So I texted Courtney, and I was like, yo, you're going to have to keep me updated. Like, I'll keep my Wi-Fi on. My texts work with Wi-Fi because I have an iPhone. So, like, just text me, keep me updated on shit that happens. Because I'm probably not going to be able to keep up. Because my shit's not going to come through to my phone. Like, let me know. And then she said, Lehner to Vegas. And I was like...
You're like, what?
Huh? You said what now? And man.
Carolina still didn't figure out their goalie situation.
No!
Like I said, they went all in to bolster their roster. And they're going to ride Nedeljkovic and Anton Forsberg into the playoff sunset.
Do you really trust Forsberg in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs?
No.
God, no.
I don't. Mrazek has a concussion.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what happened to Reimer, but...
He's out.
Yeah. Everybody around the Hurricanes has said that neither of these injuries is short-term.
Good luck.
So... One of the rumors before today was that Carolina wanted to work on an extension and they just didn't see themselves affording it next season. Okay, but you need to make the playoffs this year. They are fighting for a wild card spot right now. They're not even in a playoff spot. They're not even in a playoff spot.
Wow.
They're 2 points behind the Islanders and Columbus, who hold the 2 wild card spots.
Wow.
And
what are they doing?
They have games in hand on Columbus, but again, you're riding Alex Nedeljkovic and Anton Forsberg and just hoping that the rest of your team makes up for it?
Oh my God. I don't even have words.
That doesn't make any sense.
How are you going to do this? The rest of your team has to play like gods.
Right.
With those goalies in net. Like, I'm not saying they're terrible, but like, the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's not easy.
Right. Yeah. And like, they had 2 first-round picks today. They still have Toronto's. They have 2 second-round picks. They have 2 third-round picks. It's not like they don't have draft picks they could have given us.
They could have.
And they have prospects. Like, you could have made this happen, but you just didn't want to.
I don't understand what they're doing.
No. They don't have very much cap space, but I feel like...
If we were going to retain half of it for fucking Vegas.
Exactly. You could have moved out enough cap space to be able to fit fucking Robin Lehner. You could have given us TVR back, which I said was probably going to happen anyways. Because he makes 2.3. Like, yeah, he's definitely a serviceable defenseman and you want to have him going into the playoffs. But if you have the choice between Robin Lehner or Alex Nedeljkovic and Anton Forsberg,
What do you think you're going to choose?
I think the answer is clear. I don't understand what the Hawks were doing. You had a free lottery ticket to bolster your system.
Yeah.
You had one of the best goaltenders in the league this season.
Mm-hmm.
And you gave him away for Malcolm Subban, a second-round pick, and someone that nobody's ever heard of.
I don't understand.
It's mind-boggling. And retained 50% of the cap hit.
What are they doing? How is that all we could get for him? How?
I really don't feel like they took the best offer that they had gotten.
I don't get it. There's multiple teams that were in on him.
I feel like they'd been given a better offer throughout the past week.
Uh-huh.
And they just wanted to wait it out to see if they got any better ones. And by the time that they wanted to circle back around, those teams had already moved on. Yeah. That's the only thing that makes sense as to how this happened.
Why does this keep happening to Robin Lehner?
I don't know.
Why do teams just totally shit on him when it comes to, like, either signing him or trading him?
I don't know.
He keeps getting just shit on. Like, he walked away from nothing, he walked away for nothing from the Islanders. Mm-hmm. That's how we ended up with him.
Right.
And now we trade him and retain salary?
Yep.
And get barely anything back for him? Like...
Yeah. So, before I turn on my rational brain, instead of angry brain, I'm going to read the quotes from our GM after today's...
Oof, I don't know if I've seen these.
Trade deadline. So, I'm just going to start at the bottom. Some of these might be repeats, but we'll get through it. So, from Mark Lazarus, Stan Bowman, our goal was to make sure we got a return for two guys that, once you get past the deadline, their value drops dramatically. You have to try to get the best return you can.
Did we really do that for Lehner and Gus?
No. And also, yes, their value drops after the deadline because they're both free agents. Mm-hmm. No, Gus is signed for 1 more year, isn't he?
Is he? I don't know.
Oh, now I'm second-guessing myself.
Uh-oh.
Let's see here. Teams. He's on Calgary now.
Oh, right.
Not on our team anymore. No, he's a UFA after this season. Okay, so yes, both of them are UFAs after this year. So their value will drop because if you trade them after the deadline, the team that gets them cannot use them for the playoffs. Or you trade them going into the summer and the team you trade them to only has negotiating rights to extend their contract. But you say this after you failed to move Erik Gustafsson in the offseason when he had his highest trade value of his entire career.
Yeah. Yeah.
You knew. Everybody knew that the Blackhawks were not going to win the cup this season. Every person.
Nobody. Thought that was going to happen.
You can tell me all you want that the front office thought that they could win the Stanley Cup this season. I do not believe that they went into this year going, you know what, this team is going to win the Stanley Cup.
No fucking way.
There is absolutely no goddamn way they believed that.
Maybe they thought they could make the playoffs.
Sure. And yes, get into the playoffs, anything can happen. But there is no way they looked at this roster and went, this is a Stanley Cup contender.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely fucking not.
No way.
No. So you trade Gus, you get draft picks, trade him at the draft, you can get a first round pick, maybe, because like I said, people go crazy at the draft, you never know. At the least, you get a second round pick, or you get a third plus something, not just the third that you got today, because...
Third round pick.
He had 60 points last year?
Yeah.
As a defenseman, that's insane.
It was not...
Insane.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yes, and he makes $1.2 million. There's
That's it!
no way if you shopped him around, that there would not be a better offer on the table than a 3rd round pick.
1.2 million. Man.
Ugh. What
Fucking
did I click?
joke.
I don't know what just happened. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, no. So then, the next quote from Ben Pope, also during Bowman's presser. The goal was to get some asset value returned from them, and we certainly did that.
You certainly did? Who's certain of this?
We traded Robin Lehner and Gustafsson, got a 2nd round pick, a 3rd round pick, Malcolm Subban, and Slava Jeans. Slava Jeans.
Slava Jeans.
Slava...
Demin.
Not Salva.
Salva.
There it is.
Slava Demin.
Slava Demin. He's got... Let's see here. He's 19 years old.
Defenseman.
He's American?
That's
I
not
saw
an American
Slava
name.
and was like, eh? Okay. Yeah, so he plays for University of Denver. He's got 2 goals, 7 assists this season so far.
In 30 games.
In 30 games. He had 14 points last year in 41 games. I'm not seeing anything that's like, yeah, you need to get this guy for Robin Lehner!
Robin Lehner!
A 4th round pick
99th overall.
by Vegas. 4th round pick.
Wow.
But he's 6'2" every time he steps on the ice, goddammit. Every single time. He's from California.
He's about to turn 20.
Sure is. Sure the fuck
He's not
isn't
even, like, super young.
Wow. Would you look at that?
I mean, he was born in 2000. He's very young.
Very
but,
young,
like,
yes.
For a prospect.
Yeah, yeah. This might be my favorite part of the whole press conference.
Oh, God.
So, Mark Lazarus tweeted these, said, Bowman said it's tough to trade a goalie because teams out of the race aren't looking for rentals, and teams in the hunt generally already have one they're comfortable with. Bowman on that topic, if you have 3, 4, 5 defensemen you like, you can always use another. But if you have a goalie you like, you're not always interested in another one.
You think?
What? Carolina has Nedeljkovic and Forsberg.
Oh my God, dude. Like, how can he look himself in the mirror and say these things with a straight face? Like, with what you just did? You really think these things are applicable?
Right. Right.
What?
No. You're trying to make sense out of the nonsensical.
Oh my God. I got nothing, dude. Like, he's living in a fantasy world.
All right, let's see here. In the Eastern Conference, these are the teams in a playoff spot currently.
Okay.
We have Washington,
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh,
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia, Boston, Tampa, Toronto, Islanders, Columbus.
Okay.
So,
Is Philly doing that well this year?
apparently,
Huh.
somehow their goaltending is working out with Brian Elliott and Carter Hart. Who the hell knows?
Elliot's unpredictable.
He's like every other season, man. Every other season, he comes out of the woodworks and is like, yeah, I'm going to be a good goalie. I don't understand it.
No.
Toronto really could have used a goaltender because Freddie Anderson is
Not
shitting the bed.
doing well.
Shitting the bed. They got Jack Campbell, who is playing way better.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if you were like, hey, got a nice Robin Lehner for you.
I mean, technically, we did give them Lehner, and then they flipped them
You're
to
right.
Vegas.
You're right.
Yeah, we traded them.
You're right.
Robin Lehner.
We did. They could have just kept him.
They could have.
They could have kept him.
I mean, what's Toronto? I mean, obviously they had money if they're going to retain 44%. Like,
Right.
it's not like they couldn't possibly afford him.
Right. I feel like they could have made this work.
Yeah. Can you imagine Freddie Anderson and Robin Lehner? Like...
You could even go Lehner and Campbell. Just send us Freddie. They make the same fucking amount of money.
Hey, shit, try it.
He has not been good.
No!
He started good.
Yeah, he...
Lately, not good. Lately, he's been worse than Malcolm Subban.
Oh. Who is now our backup.
Oh, God. Yep. And then you have the Islanders who have Varlamov and Grace.
Mm-hmm.
And then Columbus, who probably after tonight wishes they would have made a move for a goalie because goalie Elvis got knocked out of the game. Mm-hmm. And Korpisalo just came back from an injury.
What, like tonight?
Yeah, tonight was his
first game, and he ended up in net because Elvis got hurt.
Yep. And then right behind Columbus is Carolina riding Alex Nedeljkovic and Anton Forsberg.
That's not going to win you any playoff games.
No.
If you even make it to the fucking playoffs.
No.
You're not in a spot.
No.
You're fighting for a wild card.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So let's go to the West.
Oh boy.
The playoff teams currently are St.
Louis.
Louis. Yep.
Jesus.
Colorado.
Huh.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Vegas. Edmonton. Vancouver. Calgary. And Edmonton. Or not Edmonton. Arizona. With Winnipeg and Nashville chasing. How has Nashville caught up that much all of a sudden?
I don't know.
Anyways, so Colorado's got some goalie injuries.
Mm-hmm.
They were rumored to be in on Lehner. Don't know what happened there. They sure have the money to take him on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they just decided to not go that route, or if Grubauer is going to come back sooner than they expected. They got Michael Hutchinson today.
They did, huh? Oh, God. Good luck with Hutch.
Yeah. I think Dallas is probably fine with Big Ben and Hudobin.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. St. Louis has Bennington and Jake Allen.
Oh, right. I forgot Jake Allen existed.
Vegas is where Leonard's at now, even though they're first in the fucking Pacific.
They didn't need him.
Edmonton, they have Mike Smith and... Oh, what's his name?
I don't even know.
Oh, no. Oh, no, what is his name? Oh, this is bad. Team.
Yeah.
Oilers roster. Oh, my goodness. What is his name? I'm gonna be like, duh, as soon as I see it. Mikko Koskinen.
Fucking Koskinen.
He's 6'7"? Holy
Christ.
Shit! God damn, they have a massive goalie tandem. Mike Smith at 6'5" and him at 6'7". Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Oh, God. But...
Mike Smith is old.
Yeah.
Like, I knew he was old, but I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah. So, that's a thing. And then Vancouver, apparently Markstrom's injured now, so they got Louis Domingue for Zane McIntyre. They did that today.
Mm-hmm.
Calgary's probably fine, but we could have sent Gus and Lehner their way.
Coulda.
They have Cam Talbot and Dave Rittich. I don't know. Arizona's fine. Winnipeg might be able to use a goalie. Nashville needs a fucking goalie. I don't understand.
Mm-mm.
I don't understand what happened and why Carolina dropped out. It just made so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
It just made...
It fit.
So much sense.
Everything just fit.
Yep. So then, Bowman said he didn't want to comment on contract negotiations with Lehner. That was also from Ben Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Bowman said it was important to us in particular to get into the second round because they didn't have a second round pick entering the day. That was certainly a priority. So I saw that.
The goal of the day was to get a second round pick.
I feel like you could have moved somebody else to do that.
You think? Jesus Christ.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, is that just what they were trying for?
Yeah,
like,
that was the
can
goal.
I have your second round pick for Robin Lehner?
Oh my God. That hurt just to hear.
Like,
what do you want? Just give us a second round.
We want a second round pick.
Just hand over a second round. It'll be fine.
You can get a fucking second round pick at the draft. Like, it's not hard. You got some for Andrew Shaw at the draft, and we got Alex DeBrincat. You can get second round picks at the draft. Mm-hmm. You could trade Saad at the draft and get a second round pick. You could have traded him today for a fucking second round pick.
Yeah.
Ugh! Alright. Then we have John Dietz. Paraphrasing Bowman here, he said, "It was important for us to get into the second round. Again, having 4 picks in the first 3 rounds was important to us. That's where you're going to get the majority of your NHL players. It was important to fill in our grid. We didn't have a second round pick. They're really hard to come by at this time of year.
What?
From that perspective, we were pleased with how it played out."
Dude.
Can we just let's just go back to the fact that Tampa gave up a first-round pick for Blake Coleman. Tampa gave up a first-round pick today for Barclay Goodrow, who's never had more than 8 goals in a season.
For a first-round pick?
A first-round pick!
Oh my god, dude. Like, how is this where we ended up? And in what world is a second rounder hard to come by at this time of the year?
They give them out like candy.
That is what people have.
They give them out like fucking candy. I think I tweeted today, like, these comments are making everything better, because I was like, I think I'm losing my mind right now. I don't think this is happening.
But it is. And it did.
Yep. So this one is from Carter Baum. Blackhawks GM Stan Bowman on getting picks in today's moves. The value in the draft is in the early part, the first few rounds. It was important for us in particular to get into the second round and another in the third round.
That was really their goal for today, was just to get a couple picks.
Yep. Another one from Ben Pope. Bowman said the backup role behind Crawford is something that's going to play itself out over the next few months. Quote, between Subban versus Delia versus Lankinen, said they have some quote-unquote decisions to make heading into the summer in that area.
Right, because Kevin isn't signed.
Right.
Delia we have for, 2 more years?
2 more years. And Subban is a restricted free agent at the end of the season. But I read that, and he was talking about the backup role to Crawford, and then said they have some decisions to make heading into the summer in that area. So, are they re-signing Corey?
That's kind of what it sounds like.
Doesn't it?
I mean, if they're saying the backup role behind him,
right?
Like, obviously that means for the rest of the year, but that doesn't sound like they're out on Crawford. Like,
right.
That sounds like he's the plan now, which, I mean, you can't get rid of both Lehner and Crawford and just...
Oh, no, you can't.
Like, you can't expect that to end well.
No.
With the goalies that we have. I mean, you know I love Delia, you know I love Lankinen, but, like, they're not...
No, they're not Crawford and
Lehner caliber. Like, they're just not.
No.
So it sounds like they're in on Crawford. That may just be us reading into it too much.
It could be.
But I feel like
that's
to be now.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see an extension come soon.
Yes.
I would be happy if we saw an extension come soon, of course.
I don't think it's going to be for long.
Oh, me either. I don't think they'll give him another 6-year extension.
Oh, absolutely not.
If anything, they'll take it year by year, or even, like, give him a 2-year deal.
Right.
And see how it goes,
2 years tops.
Yeah, especially with the concussion history and all that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Next one from Carter Baum. Bowman takes a second to thank Robin Lehner for his brief tenure with the Blackhawks, saying, quote unquote, he believed in us enough to come to Chicago. A great guy, a great goaltender.
Yes.
Yes?
Agreed.
Yes. Yes. Another quote. Well, okay. Ben Pope said, Bowman said they looked through the recent year's trade deadlines for examples of goalies of Lehner's caliber being traded in order to determine his approximate value. And found there were very few examples of it.
So they just said, okay, a second rounder?
Yes.
I'm gonna cry.
Like, yeah, this doesn't happen often because you're not usually trying to trade an elite goalie.
Right!
But when the opportunity arises, you don't just go, let's look and see what's happened in other years so we can determine his value.
Like, you should know his fucking value, dude.
You should try to get as much as you can.
Yeah, you don't just say...
You don't just go, oh, this doesn't happen very often. Second round pick and you're back up, like, goalie for goalie.
Fuck off.
Like, is this MySpace days? Comment for comment?
Oh, God.
Goalie for goalie?
Subban for Lehner?
Subban for Lehner. And Slava Jeans.
Slava Jeans and a second rounder.
Yeah. Another quote from our GM. I don't know if financial obligation was the primary reason for today's trades. Main goal was to bring in assets for players who, after today, their value goes down significantly. What does that even mean?
Do you really feel...
Financial obligation? Both guys were free agents at the end of the season.
And you retained...
None of this has to do with money. Yeah.
You retained half of his salary.
Yeah. None of this has anything to do with money.
If we were trying to clear cap space... We didn't really do that. Gus was 1.2.
Right.
And we retained half of Lehner's.
Yeah.
That's all we did. That's all we fucking did.
All we did.
That's all we did. Fucking Nathan Noel? Okay.
That's all we did.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all.
That's it.
We retained 2.5 on Lehner, and we let Gus go at 1.2.
So what, we lost 3.7?
Something like that, yeah. That's it. That's what we cleared.
For what reason? We didn't bring anything in.
Nope, we got nobody.
We didn't take on a bad contract to get an asset.
No. We got a AHLer.
Sort of. One who hasn't played since January.
Yeah. But he's going to solve all our problems.
Right.
And then we got Jeans Boy, who's not going to be in the AHL.
No,
and
he's in college.
Not even next year, right? Is that what I saw? I could be wrong.
Who knows?
I don't fucking know.
I don't even know if he's... No, he's not signed because he's in college. As soon as you sign, you can't play in college.
Exactly.
So who knows if he's even going to stay?
Yeah.
He could just walk.
He could.
And then we get Malcolm Subban, who... There's no way we re-sign him at the end of the season.
There's no reason to.
We don't need him.
No.
And a second-round pick!
Yeah.
We got a second-round pick for Robin Lehner. That's it. At the end of the day. That is what we got.
It. Yeah.
Because you got a who the fuck knows what in a college guy who could just decide he doesn't want to play there.
Yeah.
Like, he's from California. He could go sign with the Kings. He could sign with the Sharks. He could sign with the Ducks.
Wherever the fuck he wants.
Stay in that warm weather. He could sign with the Abs. He plays in Denver.
Yeah.
He could sign in the desert and go to...
There's a lot of teams out there now.
Yeah, either the Coyotes or the Knights.
Mm-hmm.
Who says he wants to stay and sign in Chicago? What if Ian Mitchell doesn't want to sign in Chicago anymore because he looks and goes, what the fuck is this team doing?
Oh, no.
So then you get Ian Mitchell, who doesn't want to sign, and his line mate in college, he's like, well, if he doesn't want to sign, I'm not going to sign. You get nothing. We don't get a goalie. We get a second-round pick, and who the fuck knows what that's going to be?
Oh, my God.
So you could get a pile of absolute shit for Robin Lehner.
Because who cares about Gus? He's gone. That's it. Great.
We wanted that this whole time. At least we get a third-round pick.
Thank God for that.
I wouldn't have given a third-round pick for Erik Gustafsson. But with the way GMs hand out shit, you want to get more than just that. And I feel like if we had a GM who was better at trading, we probably could have gotten more than that. Because of what was given up for other players at this deadline.
You know, I really didn't want to come into today and end up, what's the word? Catastrophizing?
Sure. Yes.
You know what I mean.
Yes.
I didn't want to end up being like, oh, the sky is falling, everything is terrible, this is the worst thing that could have happened. It's not. It's not the worst thing that could have happened. But a fucking second rounder is basically all we got for Robin Lehner.
Right.
you can't spin that in a good way.
Yes.
I don't care who you are. Somebody make it make sense, because a second rounder for a goalie of that caliber,
no.
Dude, they robbed us.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Unbelievable. And we just let it happen.
Yeah.
And we're happy about it. Bowman is fucking happy.
He's happy
with what we got because we filled out the grid in the draft.
Right. Which is magic beans. Who
fucking knows? The draft.
You better fucking trust your scouts in that second round and know what you're gonna fucking get. Like, it's more important to us to get draft picks and just fill it out so we have it in every round than to get, I don't know, a prospect who's already playing in the AHL. Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. Is this going to tell me who all they got? Oh, it's not listed well.
Cap Friendly doesn't do that for past years?
I don't know. I just want a list. Just give me... there we go. Okay, so in last year's draft, we got, obviously, Kirby Dach in the first round, which I have conceded to liking. Second round, we got Alex Vlasic, a large defenseman who could be good, but maybe his game won't transition into the NHL. We got Michael Tepley and Antti Sorella in the fourth round, because we didn't have a third round.
Sorella's already gone, though, isn't he?
That's his brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then we got a goalie in the sixth round, and Cole Moberg in the seventh round, who I am a fan of. We should have just gotten more seventh round picks, because I like Cole Moberg.
I know you do, and
Exactly.
I'm with you.
Yes. But the only thing we know out of any of this is that Kirby Dach can play in the NHL.
Yeah.
The rest of these guys? Who knows?
Right. They're wild cards. Anything...
Yeah.
If you haven't already proven yourself in the NHL, you don't know what you're getting.
No, not at all.
It is literally a lottery.
Literally. Like, you could draft the next DiPietro, and then you sign him to a 15-year contract, and he just has glass for bones and doesn't play for you because he can't stop getting injured. You could draft a Nail Yakupov first overall and get absolutely nothing out of that. You could get Alex Galchenyuk at 3 overall, and he can't stop switching teams. You could get a Dylan Strome, and yeah, he was okay for us last year, but he took forever to break into the NHL in Arizona. Couldn't cut it there, had a good season here with the Brinket, and now he can't stay healthy, and he sucks this season. So
yeah, I heard talks of him possibly moving today. Nothing happened there.
And those are all top picks. Like,
right.
Then you get into the second round, and who the fuck knows once you get there.
That's just...
I highly doubt we're going to get somebody else to drop like Alex DeBrincat did.
Right.
To get in the second fucking round.
Yeah.
You just don't know. You don't know. Something crazy like that could happen.
So why are they so set on having these... Like, yes, picks are obviously important.
Right.
You need them to build a team in the future.
Right. But I feel like
nothing is guaranteed.
Yeah, and I feel like we could have gotten draft picks for other players on the roster.
Absolutely.
It's dumb. It's dumb.
1 second rounder.
That's it. And the only player that we got of any impact to the teams this year is Malcolm Subban. Because I truly don't believe TJ Brennan's going to make a difference in Rockford. So out of Robin Lehner and Gus, 2 mainstays on the Blackhawks roster, no matter what we say about Gus, we get Malcolm Subban. And if this team was committed to a rebuild, that would be perfectly fine.
But they're not.
But they're not.
They're saying that the older guys still want to win a cup.
You're not going to do that by doing this.
That's not the way to do it, no.
If you're going to go that route, trade Robin Lehner for another roster player that's not fucking Malcolm Subban. You bring up one of our goalies from Rockford who's playing well, which would be Colin, and you get somebody to play on our fucking defense that can't stop letting in goals. That's how you try to win now, not sell off your elite goalie for
a second-round pick
and a goalie who hasn't had above a .900 save percentage in his career.
Oh my god. It's just laughable.
It's dumb. They did nothing to fix the Blackhawks roster. They did nothing to help the Ice Hogs.
No.
They did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. In a middling season, yeah, they're not at the bottom of the conference like they were last year, but that's because we had Robin fucking Lehner. Then you sell him off, and now it's only on the back of Crawford, where we had one of the best goalie tandems in the league behind a shit team. Now you have Crawford and fucking Malcolm Subban. Where do you think we're going to end up in the standings?
It's, I don't want to be negative. I really, really don't. But how can you expect it to go up from here?
You can't, and I haven't been one of these people that's like, fire Stan, because I think he's actually done a fairly good job in different aspects, but I'm getting really fucking sick of this stupid shit that he pulls, where we have these great players and give them away for nothing. Artemi Panarin, we got fucking Brandon Saad back, and Anton Forsberg!
Sure did.
For Panarin! Like, he hits... He does have some hits. He did get Dylan Strome for basically nothing last year.
Right.
That was a good trade.
Yeah.
He made some good trades earlier this season, which I'm just blanking on now.
He's never made a good trade. But the bad moves that he makes are catastrophic.
Really bad. Really fucking bad. We got the same return for Gus that we got for fucking Brandon Bolig from the same team.
Same team. It's the exact same trade.
It doesn't make any sense. And people have been on the fire Stan train for
years.
As long as I can remember, honestly. And I was like, no, he did put together 3 cup-winning teams. Like, yeah, he was basically gifted the core because he didn't draft Taves, Kane, Crawford, Keith, all that.
Right.
But he was still a part of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
And after the massive cap purge after the 2010 Cup, he still had to rebuild into 13 and 15. And you have to give him credit for that. But what has happened since?
Yep.
What has happened since? We haven't had a great team in Rockford. No. Yeah, they went to the conference final a couple years ago. But I don't think anybody even would have expected that out of that team.
No.
They just happened to sweep the first 2 rounds.
Right. They barely made it into the playoffs that year. They made a push in the final weeks.
Yeah.
And they did it. And
Delia was just in God mode.
Yeah. He was unbeatable until you got to, the 3rd round?
And then Jeff Glass came in, and he did as well as he could,
mm-hmm.
but Texas played better. And then we haven't made the playoffs since.
Nope.
And they just refused to fire fucking Derek King.
I don't know why the fuck they re-signed him in the first place. I don't know how many times I can say that.
Me either.
He's never proven to be effective.
He hasn't, and it's not even really anything against him.
No.
It's just he hasn't proven that he should be the coach. He hasn't gotten us anywhere. He hasn't
Players
done anything.
Aren't developing.
No.
We're not winning.
No.
What is the point? Why are we keeping him around? What will it take to get rid of him?
Any sense.
And I still don't know if we have him signed through this year or next year.
I know. Oh my god. They won't fix anything.
No. We have very clear issues.
Very clear.
Which it seems like you should have a clear fix for. This is what we need to do to fix this. This is what we need to do to fix this.
But no, they're so stuck in this fucking PR circle with John McDonough trying to rule everything and make positive press for the Hawks. But then they pull shit like this. Like, the fans are not happy.
Clearly.
They are going to ruin the sellout streak at the UC, and then what?
And then what? Yeah.
You don't have that going for you anymore.
Right.
The fucking convention didn't sell out last year. Like, you're losing the support that you had because you refuse to acknowledge that this team is getting older and just isn't as good anymore. That's what happens. That is the cycle of a hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
Taves and Kane are over 30 now.
Yeah.
You have to start rebuilding the next core.
Right, because as soon as everything starts going downhill like that, how long is it going to stay down?
Exactly. Like, yeah, we have Kirby Dach, who you hope is our next number one center. That's what you're hoping for.
Of course.
But if that doesn't pan out, who do you have? Dylan Strome? Is he going to be your number one? No.
Nah.
There's nobody in the system lined up to be a number one anything. Like, I guess you're hoping that Boquist or Ian Mitchell become a number one defender?
Right. But that's just hope.
It's hope. There's nothing that tells you that's going to be the case.
Boquist hasn't been that impressive in the NHL this year. And
no.
Yeah, he's young. He's a rookie. Okay.
Yeah. And we have a lot of goalies in the system. Do any of them look like they're going to be a number one in the NHL?
None of them have proven to be that consistent.
No. You have Gravel and juniors. I guess you hope that once he makes the jump, he comes up through the rankings. But then what?
This is just hope.
Exactly. Like, Crawford spent, 5 years in the American League before making the jump?
Something like that. Yeah, if he came up in 2010, right?
Yeah. And he was drafted in 2003, so...
Yeah.
Are you going to really wait that long for every prospect you draft to be a hit and be a number one anything in the NHL?
And what do we do in the meantime?
Right.
While
nothing.
we're waiting.
You trade elite talent for
a
nothing.
Second rounder.
Yeah. For a shot in the pan. Like, it makes no goddamn sense. At least try to help your American League team make the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
Get those players some actual experience in the playoffs. Because we have a lot of young guys.
And they're talented.
They are.
They can do things. They're just not given the opportunity.
No. Because there's a lot of young players. Like, you would need people who know how to win.
Right.
Because there's only so much they can do. They're still adjusting to the pro game and going from either junior or college into playing a full season as a pro.
Completely different.
Totally different.
Completely different.
And yeah.
The game is different.
Yeah.
The schedules are different. Everything is just completely uncharted territory for them.
Yeah. So then you get rid of one of your two starting goaltenders. Now you have Crawford, who's, 33?
Something like that.
34?
Got drafted 17 years ago!
Yeah. So he's getting up there. You have no clear path behind him. We have a 3-goalie system in Rockford, yet you're just not going to help them make the playoffs and get that winning experience?
Of course not.
That would be the most common sense thing to do.
Because our affiliation is not about winning Calder Cups. We're about development.
You can't do that if you don't give them experience.
We're not developing.
What are you going to develop into? Guys that know how to lose and not make the fucking playoffs? Because that's how the Blackhawks are going right now. That's how the Ice Hogs are going right now.
That's literally what we're doing.
Right.
It's not a winning...
Formula?
That's the word.
Yeah, it's not. It's a let's miss the playoffs, but not be bad enough to get the first overall pick. It's like, we're the Chicago Bears.
Oh, God.
We're just always going to be in the middle. Not bad enough to completely tank. Not good enough to make the playoffs or win anything. We're going to be the fucking Minnesota Wild.
Oh, don't say that.
I don't know what their plan is. I don't even know that they have a plan.
They obviously don't. If their goal of today was to get a second-round pick.
Right.
Good job, you did that.
Congratulations.
And what do we have to show for it? Fucking Malcolm Subban?
Yeah. Yep.
Which I don't have anything against him.
No, I wanted Subban back when he was in Boston. I wanted him to come to Chicago. But he hasn't shown he can be really that effective as a backup in Vegas. And maybe he will be like a Devin Dubnyk in Minnesota. He was with Edmonton, then he went to Nashville, then he went to Arizona. Completely terrible in all of those places. Went to Minnesota and was damn near elite at goaltending. Maybe that's what's going to happen to Malcolm Subban. Who knows? You have no idea.
We want these things.
That is what we want. I would love for him to finish out the season great and get a 1-year show-me deal and then show that he can take over that starting role, transition Crawford into a backup, and then see where it goes from there with our other 3 guys in the American League. But that's hoping for a lot.
Oh, yeah. All of everything that we have right now is built on hope.
And I'm starting to lose that in this team because they don't seem like they have a plan.
And seems like the majority of the fan base at this point.
Right. Because they won't bolster their roster, but they won't sell off all of the pieces that'll get you something. Yeah, you can't just stay in the middle and hope for the best until everybody's contracts are up.
Right. Because then what?
Right. Then you have nothing. Then you have absolutely nothing, and then we're the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, no.
Then we get stuck in the first round, or the first overall pick loop with doing nothing with it. Because the team doesn't have a direction that they want to go in.
Right. Drafting elite players doesn't matter if the rest of your team sucks.
Yeah.
A la Connor McDavid.
Right.
Like, yeah, Edmonton's in a playoff spot now.
Yeah.
But...
because McDavid's a god and Draisaitl is Jesus. And they finally got rid of Peter Chiarelli. Like... But how long did it take them to get there? They went through Taylor Hall. They went through Jordan Eberle. Yeah. They drafted Nail Yakupov. That was absolutely nothing. They've wasted a ton of Nugent Hopkins' career. Like... just
trash.
Yeah, is that what the Hawks are going to turn into?
Please.
Like, yeah. Q's time was up as the coach of the Blackhawks. Sure. So then Bowman brought in his guy, Jeremy, and we were convinced... great move because he was great with the Ice Hogs and they'll call up their guys and they'll be familiar with the coach and it'll be great. And they started playing better at the end of last season. And then we come into this season.
We were so convinced they were going to have it figured out this season.
And they still look like they're just lost. Why? They have no idea what to do. They have brand new assistant coaches. Direction? I have no idea.
None of it makes any sense. There's no reason why they should be as bad as they are.
No. On a team with Patrick Kane, even just him alone, you should not be this bad.
No.
It makes no sense. And running a tandem of Crawford and Lehner.
Which is the only reason they're in the spot that they're in right now.
That's it.
If they didn't have...
If they didn't have those two, we would...
fucking tier goaltending.
We'd be down with Detroit.
Oh, God.
That's how bad this team has been this season.
Can't score goals.
No.
Plays no defense.
No.
Like...
You rely...
all you have is your elite goaltending.
And now we only have
half
one
of it is gone.
Yes. And we have nothing to show for it.
What are you expecting out of this? You didn't sell.
No.
You didn't buy.
You just kind of gave away.
Right. I got nothing, dude.
Yeah.
Nope. I feel deflated.
Yeah. And for most of the day, we thought that the Hawks just didn't send down anybody on paper transactions to be
AHL
eligible for the playoffs if we fucking make them.
If we make it.
But they did send down Highmore and Lucas Carlson.
Which are like the only people that they could have, huh?
They could have sent down Boquist. Oh. They could have sent down Strome. They could have...
Strome? Really?
Yeah, apparently he has like a couple games left before he's
that's gotta be because of all of his injuries, right?
I have no idea. But I saw that in a tweet and I was like, huh? Strong. And it was like from one of our reporters.
Right. Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Just imagine they send down Strome for the playoffs. That would have been so weird.
Super weird. Why didn't they send down Boquist?
I don't know. Have the summer off, dude. You'll be done in April. Congratulations. Go work on your tan.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah. Who the fuck knows? So then we have...
That's the tweet I was talking about.
Greg Cameron tweeted about Slava jeans. For Blackhawks fans that haven't seen Demin, he's a left shot 6'2" defenseman who has become more two-way since getting to college, but his bread and butter is his defense, particularly playing the body.
Okay, let's see it.
Congratulations.
He's still not playing in the AHL.
No.
Like,
we could have used that.
So what?
Right. You really don't know. You don't know if he's going to turn into anything. If he does turn into something, you don't know if he's going to sign here. Yeah. Yep, there's all of that. So there was the quotes from today. And then I had my rational brain.
Okay.
Trying to make sense of this.
Yes.
I feel like I had So there was a tweet from Jimmy Greenfield that said, "A second rounder for a player the new team intends to use as a backup is pretty good. He'll play maybe 8 to 10 games total for them. If no team wanted him as a starter, this seems like a decent return." I don't know about all that.
He still gave up Robin Lehner.
Right.
Like...
Right.
That's not an even trade.
Right. Yeah, okay, so rational brain kicked in.
Okay.
And going back to the summer and free agency day, we were completely surprised when we got the notification that Robin Lehner signs in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, that shit came out of nowhere.
For 1 year, $5 million. We were like, what the hell?
What do you mean, Robin Lehner?
Exactly. We expected to go into the season with Crawford and probably Delia as the backup. So you have this totally out of nowhere asset that probably shouldn't even have been here at all. And we turned that into maybe a good defensive prospect and a draft pick when we shouldn't have had him. And we got fun memories.
Okay.
And something out of it. And now he's going to Vegas, and maybe they'll win a cup. You see, my rational brain sounded more positive and rational when it was in my head. But then saying it out loud...
Yeah. It doesn't sound all that optimistic, huh?
No, it doesn't. I'm like, you had this free asset and you did nothing.
Yeah.
With that opportunity that you had that you shouldn't have had. Huh. Wow.
That was supposed to be positive.
It was. It really was. I had every intention of that being positive, and then it just got very depressing.
I feel like that's the mantra of our podcast.
Yeah.
We want this to be positive.
Yeah.
But then...
Yeah. So,
what
then
else you got?
Malcolm Subban has worn the numbers 30 and 70 in his NHL career. Both numbers are available for him with the Blackhawks. For the number 30, 21 players have worn it.
Wow.
Last worn by Cam Ward.
Oh, yeah. We remember him.
Yep. And...
last season.
Yeah. 70, only worn by one player, Dennis Rasmussen.
Oh, Moose.
So, either Malcolm Subban either gets Cam Ward's number or Dennis Rasmussen's number.
Okay. Interesting.
That just... It just seems like bad karma, right?
I mean...
Right?
Yeah.
It just seemed kind of funny to me. That
30 is more of a goalie number.
It is.
70 is kind of a weird number.
It is.
Obviously, as it's only been worn by Moose, but
Right. So he'll probably take 30, but maybe he'll take 70. Either way, they don't come with very good karma as the last players to wear them. Still wasn't positive. It wasn't meant to be. I just thought it was funny.
Just a fun fact.
Just a little fun fact. Little fun facty there. Then we had Robin Lehner's goodbye to Chicago. He said, "Thank you, Chicago. What a great city. Fans were unbelievable, and I'm not going to forget the short time there. I believe in this team and still do. Great teammates. Gonna miss all of you. The city and guys deserve the best. Panda was born in Chicago. Really excited to join Vegas. Going to be a ride. Can't wait to get there, but please no drums at the airport. I'm shy.
You can always count on him for a good quote.
That's very true.
He does not hold back.
No.
He's very honest.
He is very honest, dude.
Very, very honest.
And then I saw people say on Twitter that even though we traded Robin Lehner to Vegas, that doesn't mean that we can't sign him on July 1st.
Come on, get real. Get fucking real. Obvious, man, you really think he's gonna come back and sign here? You really think, after we trade him for a fucking second rounder, he's gonna come back and sign here? He wants at least 3-4 years.
Yep.
Which we could do.
Yep.
He's not gonna do that shit.
No.
You really think after... I got nothing, dude. I feel like I've said that a lot of times this episode, but my God, get real.
Yep. Yep. That was a thing I saw floating around on Twitter.
I also saw that.
And I just had to laugh to myself. Because even before he was traded, when we were talking about trade or re-sign, why would he re-sign here?
Why? What's the point?
The team sucks in front of him. There's no clear direction.
No. It doesn't make any sense for him to sign here.
He wants a cup. He deserves one. Go chase a cup.
Exactly. Get paid, dude.
Right. Get paid.
Get paid.
Win that cup.
Pay Panda.
Pay the Panda.
I still don't understand the whole Panda thing.
I don't understand it either.
But I'll go with it. Pay the Panda.
I go.
You go.
On this whole rant about getting rid of Robin Lehner. When all along I wanted to keep Corey. But now that it's happened, I'm not upset that we kept Corey, obviously.
Of course not.
But I would rather have both of them.
I mean, obviously. Who wouldn't?
I'm happy that we didn't trade him. But now it's real that Lehner was traded.
You know, that tends to happen. Things do get real.
They do. It's a lot easier to talk about when it's not real yet.
Yeah.
When it's just a theory floating out in the universe. Like, oh, wouldn't this be funny? But then it happens and it's not funny.
Not funny.
It's not funny at all.
There's no fun.
There's no
involved.
humor in this trade. Actually, there's a lot of humor in
We've
this
done
trade.
a lot of laughing.
There's just no fun. But you have to laugh.
Because otherwise you cry.
Exactly. So thank you, Robin, for the few months that you were here. It was a fun ride. We got some crazy saves and games that we should not have won.
No, you stole those. A lot of teams got goalied.
Yep. And now maybe you will win the cup in Vegas. So I guess I'm rooting for Vegas for the rest of the season.
Let's go for it.
Right.
We are now a Vegas podcast.
We are now a Vegas Golden Knights podcast, not to be confused with being a Chicago Wolves podcast.
Ew, no, never that.
We do not associate with the affiliate of the Vegas Golden Knights.
We pretend they don't exist.
That is very far from being the case here. Because at the end of the day, we are still Ice Hogs fans.
Every day, all
sacrilege
day.
to root for that team down I-90 from us. That will not happen.
Never.
But Vegas, on the other hand, it is okay, because they will not be affiliated with Chicago next year anyway. But I am mad that we did not get one of their better players in this deal today.
Nope.
And we should probably end this here before we keep just
saying
the same things, because it's that frustrating.
Yeah.
That it's hard to not just talk in circles about it, because we're trying to make sense of it.
Make it make sense.
I feel like the more we say these things, maybe they will make sense, but they just keep making less sense the more we talk about it. So it makes even less sense now than it did 2 hours ago.
That's all we got for Chicago? And
that's it.
Ice Hogs?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yep. Then the rest of the league did shit, but that'll be in part 2.
Yeah. coming up next.
Oh, God. Until then, we'll try not to lose our minds too much.
Keep it roped in.